Welcome back, guys, for a quick episode. This is going to be about the game coming out in 16 hours. It's CyberPunk 2077, and I'm with Pineapple again, guys. We're switching to our office. We're both live this time. Pineapple,
I like it.
I like the
I'm here.
office. Wow, we're sitting so close. I'm not sure this is 6 feet apart. Let's see.
Well, you're the one that has to worry about it. You live in California. I live in Florida. We've been spreading COVID like wildfire here.
Yeah, you're like the Wild West for sure.
By the way, I don't think we can use the. I don't think we can say COVID.
We're not. Can't say that word. Rona.
Rona the vid. We can say the vid.
Anyways, we
Anyway, go ahead.
are 16 hours away from Cyberpunk, and we're going to be crushing a whole lot of it tomorrow. So let's tell everybody what we expect, and then we can let everybody know if it meets our expectations, or you know what exactly are you
Oh,
looking for in this game that was pre-ordered in 2004.
oh man. I don't know. I'm trying to not have expectations so that I'm not let down. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. So this is one of those things that I've talked about for a while, where I hate when games get so hyped, and sometimes you can't help it, right? Like this game is super hyped. It's been, what's the real date that this thing was announced? It had to have been 2015, 15 or 16.
Yeah, 2016.
And in 2016, this game looked like an awesome idea, and I think they had like a generic little 30-second teaser. And from that point on, this game just steamrolled with hype. And E3, any little time that you could get some game footage out, Cyberpunk 2077. And then guess what? Cyberpunk delayed, delayed. But even through all the delays, like, people kind of cried, but it wasn't like they were hating on people. They were just so sad that they couldn't play the game yet.
Yeah.
This thing's gonna fill a hole in people's hearts that have been playing Skyrim still. There's people that still avidly play Skyrim every day. I think they're gonna quit Skyrim.
I just hope if I have any expectation, it is that it is a game that I don't put down. So, and this is a rare thing. And if I could name a few games to give everybody an example, God of War, I didn't put that game down. I played it until I beat it, and I didn't stop. Uh, Breath of the Wild, I played that game until I beat it. I didn't stop. And that was a long game, by the way. That took me a while to beat that game. And I honestly played that one single playthrough. Now, I don't expect that I'll be able to play Cyberpunk all the way through because obviously what the dev said he was playing it for 125 hours and he's still not all the way done. So and you and I, we're gonna play and do every little thing. We want to see all the stuff. We're gonna go to all the little hallways, all the little streets. Any place you go, we're gonna try to go there. Um, so for me, I just want it to be a game that I can't put down. And I don't know the magic sauce in that. I can just tell you the kind of games I've played that I couldn't put down. Um, and there's only a few of them, to be honest with you. There's only a few of them that I could not put down. You know, I'm a pretty picky gamer, so I just hope it's one of those. I hope I put 20 some hours into it the first time I play it, and I'm just like, I got to come back. Skyrim did that for me. Did that do that for you? How about Skyrim?
Skyrim hooked me immediately,
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
because. Well, first off, I thought Skyrim was a totally different game. So, like, to be 100% honest, when I got into Skyrim, I had no idea what I was actually getting into. So when I got
Right.
into it, everything amazed me because I was like, "Oh, what? Like, this is pretty much an open world game, and I can choose what I'm gonna do." And I don't remember who got me onto that game. I wasn't really big into RPG games before then. Like, I've played them before, but Skyrim, hook, line, and sinker. And I remember I was working shift work at the time, so I was working 12-hour shifts. and I was working 12-hour shifts. I would get home, eat, and I would play for about 6 hours. If I was pushing my limits, I'd play for 8 hours, sleep, go back to work. Like it was insane. That game
Right.
probably took a couple years off my life because of how much I played it at first. But
At least about 2,000 hours or
dude,
more.
I probably put 3,000 hours in that game. Like because I've had it on Xbox 360,
Yeah.
Xbox One, and then I got on PC. As soon as I got on PC, I'm pretty sure they didn't drop the same time. I think it was like 5 months later they dropped the anniversary version, which I thought was going to be like crispened up. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've played that game. Only game I've bought more than that game is freaking Grand Theft Auto 5. Like everybody's owned at least 45 copies of Grand Theft Auto 5. They've got it.
That's funny, man.
But how about how much have you looked into this game? Have you tried to stay spoiler free? Have you seen what
Uh,
people are saying about it?
okay, so whenever they do like a gameplay type trailer where they take you through gameplay and dialogue, I don't watch those videos. I don't mind to like learn about feature sets or skill trees or potential weapons and stuff like that because I feel like no matter how much of that you're going to get, you're never going to see every weapon. They're never going to be able to showcase every weapon, right? And they're probably not going to showcase the cool ones. That are they're going to maybe showcase one out of the 10 or 20 really cool weapons that are in there, and all that stuff probably is upgradable and right as you move along in the game, and then of course your skill tree will help you be more damaging or effective with those weapons or whatever. So for me, it's all about like I wanted to know like what kind of class you could be, what your storyline was going to be like, what options those were. I wanted to know that. I don't think that spoils the game, right? Because it doesn't tell you anything about the story. It just gives you some insight. And the only other thing is my friend AJ bought the CyberPunk board game. The It's like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. And in there, there's a manual of like a breakdown of the skill trees and different things like that. So I was like, if this is anything like the game, like the actual game, then it's pretty in depth, and that's cool with me. Like I'm okay with that. Being able to pick how your story could plan out based on your background, your history, friends, relationships with your friends, how old you are, like all that stuff played a role in the board game. So like if I was 26 in the board game, I would get a certain amount of unlocks because I had 26 years of friendships and relationships that I developed, right? And if you were like 40, then all of a sudden you get even more bonuses and perks because you're 40, so you know more people, you've experienced more life, and so I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, I'm sure there's a general story and age for your character. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Is there? Do you know anything about that?
I am not sure. So the only thing that I seen about Cyberpunk is I was on their YouTube page and they would release small profiles. It wasn't gameplay. You would see a little bit of gameplay, but it wasn't gameplay. It was like in Night City, there's six different gangs, and there's this feature, and there's cars, and there's this. I forgot all the videos. They started releasing them about 2 months ago, but they were just like
Right,
3 minute featurettes, and I would watch that, and it was just like nothing spoiler, but it would let you know, hey, this game looks cool.
right,
What it told me is there's so many options in this game. The one game that still has it, and I mean, you can just tell by how many people still play it and how much money it still makes on microtransactions. But Grand Theft Auto has
yes,
so much stuff that's always added into it. There's so many things in a city. There's so many different ways to play that game. Like you can't tell someone, "Hey, you're playing Grand Theft Auto 5 wrong," because there's no right and wrong way to play that game.
right,
And Grand Theft Auto 5 is the role play game master, right? If you're going to role play game, you're going to jump in that right
right,
now. Think about
right.
if they actually add multiplayer to Cyberpunk, people are
And
going
you
to
can
hop
role
over to that.
play,
Oh, people are going to
dude.
hop into that, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to be 100% mind blown if someone doesn't make a GTA 5 mod where they're going to be doing this kind of stuff, hoping that they don't kind
right,
of Cyberpunk doesn't do it first. But
right.
besides that, I did watch this guy's review. I've seen him a few times. He got an early copy. He played 20 hours. He wasn't allowed to show any footage. He just said his thoughts on. the process without spoilers. So I took that in, and from what I got from that is that this game is gonna deliver on everything we've hoped and dreamed of, and you're gonna be able to play this game the way you wanted to play it. And it reminds me of Grand Theft Auto in that way. Like you can go and you can be the guy that wants to run through and do the story real fast. So you're like, you know what's going on. Or you can be the guy
Right.
that's gonna knock out all the side quests. You're gonna level yourself up. You're gonna level your gear up. From my understanding, there's the player, there's cybernetics, there's going to be skills, as in gun skills, melee skills, even running and that kind of stuff. And
Right.
it just goes super in depth on how you're going to balance your character, and that's amazing because you're going to be able to play this game a few times through. I'm going to guarantee that there's different endings. I don't know that for a fact. With a game like this, I'm guessing character based, there's going to be a different ending, all the same ending, but like different ways and a slightly different ending to it.
Right. I mean that's going to be exciting because what's the last game you played where your choices actually gave you an alternate ending? What's the last game you
Um,
played like that?
well, Black Ops.
Black Ops. Oh my god.
There's four
No, what
endings. There's four
one
endings
that
to Black
felt
Ops, right?
yeah, one that felt meaningful. Wait, there's
Um,
four endings? All right, let's not talk about that because I don't that we're about to get sidetracked because I had no
spoiler.
clue there was four endings.
But
I got a
so
question for you based on CyberPunk. You ready?
yes.
And I want chat to engage on YouTube. I want YouTube to comment, and I want people to engage in this. This is a good question for everybody, but especially you. So, what is the one? I know the answer to this on my end, so I'm hoping you don't say my answer. By the way, but if you do, it's cool because we are a lot alike. So, what is the one definitive thing that you want your character to have or use in the game that you have to have? What is it? What's the one thing? You only name one thing.
That's such a hard question, man.
Right. Is it a gun? Is it a type of gun? Is it a type of vehicle? Is it a clothing? Is it a type of attitude or trait that gives you an advantage? Like, what is the one thing you absolutely have to have?
So, man, that is really hard because like there's so much there. I do gotta say, with a game like this, I hope they have a really good melee
Right.
weapon. I'm looking for like a legit samurai or a katana. It's something I can level up with a make my skill a little better and maybe assassinate people. Like I want that one item that makes me badass and unique. I would have to
Okay.
say it has to be a melee weapon. Most of the time, I'm going to lean towards like a samurai sword or katana.
Okay.
Uh,
I like that answer.
what's yours?
So
What do
you're a
you got?
melee guy. So you're a
Dude,
melee guy. So
dude,
you,
there's nothing better than going up to somebody in a game and just crushing them, just fucking, like walking up, crushing them.
dude, do you think they've got it so in depth that there's like an assassination or like a little movie that plays out, or it's just already really well designed where that animation is going to play out and make the game feel super realistic?
I don't know, man. I'm really
Wouldn't that be
wondering.
sick though?
I know that like they have real life like um, crowds, and
Right,
they interact with how and things are going on. So like I would assume that you're gonna have a finishing move or assassination move or something like that. I mean, there's gonna be some stealthy things to this game, I'm sure.
right,
If I had to have a close second, I would really want a car that I can customize, like fully customize. I don't talking about paint, like customize this car so where maybe it would take a really hard time to find two cars that are close to the same. You got to have a
right,
lot of options.
right. So my answer to that one is, and this may be default. I don't know because we haven't played it yet, but I want a flying car. I don't know
Hmm.
if that's an option. I don't know if all the cars fly, but I mean, it's futuristic enough. I want like a DeLorean, right? The reason is because I want like a proper DeLorean or a proper flying car. I want a flying car so bad. If that makes any sense. I don't know why, but that's what I want.
I wonder if they do or not. Most of the videos I've seen, the cars are pretty like futuristic, but
but
driving,
they're on the ground.
they've been
Yeah.
driving, yeah. So, but I don't put it past it, man. I really don't. What
So
about
that's the only thing.
what about how would you
I'll tell you what
expect?
weapon I want.
Oh,
A
sniper rifle.
gravity gun.
Oh, gravity gun, dude. Come on,
I
gravity
want to grab.
gloves.
No, I'm just kidding.
Gravity gloves.
Just kidding. No, no, but no, a sniper rifle. So I would like to have a sniper rifle that feels that's like fast though, like a fast move, like a really fast sniper rifle. You can literally just pow 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 pow, but you could take guys out with it if you get skilled enough with it.
Did you ever see that movie Wanted with Angelina Jolie?
Yes.
I want a sniper rifle I can bend the bullets. Okay, I want to shoot around corners.
That'd be sick.
Well, what are your expectations on Night City? How it's going to look? If you're actually going to be able to interact and go through the city, or if it's going to be like main roads and corridors only? Are you hoping for like a fully interactive, um, actual open world? I know there's
Right.
limitations, obviously, but like
Right.
even in Grand Theft
Like if you're in a
Auto,
600 room hotel and you can go into every room, like that'd be a little insane. I
first off,
doubt that
it would be
exists.
super cool, but also why, right?
I mean,
but
unless there's like some, I mean the looting, right? You could loot every room,
in
but
In Grand Theft Auto,
that's a lot,
they made a lot of the city where you couldn't access it. But as you
right?
notice, later on they would open it up, or in modded servers, they would open it up just fine, and most of those buildings were already done. So now that we're in next gen tech, we're on next gen consoles, we're on PCs are a little better. I'm hoping
Right.
that more of the world is actually open and interactable. I mean, for looting purposes and just for story purposes, like be able to go into places and check things out.
Right.
That's my hope.
Right. Man, I'll tell you what, they're gonna it's gonna be as full as they can. I mean, think about a city, man. What it takes to make a city feel dynamic and alive and realistic. Remember, just think like for an example, you're using GTA a lot, but I mean, you can recall a time when GTA didn't really feel like a live city. You know what I mean? And then you remember, was it Nico Bellic story? I think it was GTA 4 maybe, when you could ride a taxi. You could get in a taxi and you could actually just sit in the taxi and it would drive you places.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that as soon as Grand Theft Auto 3, maybe 4, that there was that ability. I knew for a fact
Right.
that Grand Theft Auto 3, it felt awesome to have such a big open world, but it,
Didn't feel
it didn't
full.
feel right. Yeah, it didn't feel full, and it just kind of felt empty, right? Like
Yep.
empty and not right. There was actually, I don't know why this just clicked into my head, but did you ever play the game Driver? The original game Driver on PlayStation?
I probably played it. I have a hard time remembering. Dude, I've played so many games.
You're in San Francisco. You are essentially a driver for like a crew that robs banks, does this, does that.
Maybe. I
Th-
can't remember, man.
this
But
game
yeah, keep
was
going.
so far ahead of itself that I think that that game remastered could hold itself in today's gaming world. And that's when I first started like having, dude, what if why don't we have open world games? Since I was really young playing games, playing online games, everyone's always talked about, like Second Life or something as like Grand Theft Auto where people will get in there and they're going to create their own actual city and people are going to have jobs or this and that and there's crime. Like
Right.
that's what Cyberpunk's going to feel like because they're going to have that actual in the background. It, uh, there's going to be crime going on that doesn't even relate to you, but you're going to see it. I think you can actually interact with it, and that may change some things that happen. Obviously, if you
Right.
help the right people, you might get perks. If you don't help, but like this game is starting to wrap up everyone's um, wish list from like the last 10,
Right.
15 years in gaming. It's
Right.
coming to conclusion right now. The only other step now
That's
is
cool.
getting into VR and doing it fucking player one style.
VR. Oh, okay. I was gonna say you knew something I didn't. I didn't think this game was gonna be VR, but yeah, it's not. You're just saying
No,
that's the
that's
last step.
that's the final step, dude. That's the final form. Okay, like that is
Yeah.
Goku's final form is fucking us getting in VR it actually feeling real and doing it. People living in
Yeah,
VR. But
you're talking about the holodeck from Star Trek.
dude, something. I mean, we're the
Yeah,
bounds that we've made. I mean, it can't be too far away.
right. I hope so. You're talking about like when you talked about the crime and like crime's going to happen in the city. So I'm hoping that the crime is like obvious because the crowd and everything reacts like it would in a real city. And it's not like here's a marker, hey, there's a crime going on over here. You can go over there and do it like in Spider-Man, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, I hope that instead they found a way to do it more organically to where it's like a real it feels like a real crime is happening, not oh hey, there's a crime over here, you could go see it if you want to interact with it and get this unlock. Because to me that always feels like it breaks the immersion of the game. Whereas if it was like the game knows where you're at, knows what you're doing, and then all of a sudden some crime is happening and you don't really know exactly what crime, right? You're got to kind of figure it out and then last second figure out if you can, you know,
it, it
kill the criminal or help the criminal, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Like it needs to feel more organic, more realistic. If that
exactly.
makes any
I don't
sense.
mind when a game shows you like if you just started the game and it shows you and like maybe the first time you see a crime, it'll point out, hey, this is a crime. You can help or you can interact with it and these are the consequences or blah blah blah. And then that's it. After that, it's your job to be able to see what's going on. That's
Right.
that's fine. But yeah, I hope there's
I
stuff like
feel
that.
like it should just be like two cops, right? Two cops would be chasing a guy, right? And you can either shoot the two cops or shoot the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or do nothing
Or
at all. I mean,
or do nothing at all, or
yeah,
go up. You can like knock the guy out, or you can shoot the guy. And so depending on how you handle it, right?
yeah.
And like if you like shoot the cops, which would be cool if you could shoot the cops and then like uh 5 minutes later you happen to run into that guy or he like find tries to find you and he's like, hey man, thanks for that, thanks for so like you have no idea what the effect's going to be because obviously he's getting away, right? But he
Well,
takes note that you helped him and then a couple minutes later all of a sudden he finds you and it's like, hey man, thanks for earlier in the alleyway on 6th Street. You know, you really saved me. And he's like,
well,
here's a gun.
spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I don't know if the crime thing happens that we want, but that
Right.
exact system does happen in this game. I know
Okay,
for
so that's awesome.
I know for a fact that there's like consequences and perks for doing things and not doing things, where
Right.
some things may be minute, but it has a consequence that will come onto you later on, or some things may
Right.
be minute that will give you a reward later on because you did this such thing. I know that
Right.
gameplay is actually in here,
I
um,
like that.
but I guess final is like, what is your what's your expectation on actual playability of this game, right? So like how long do you think you're going to be able to play this game? What do you think it's going to take you? So it takes an average fast gamer 25
Right.
hours. The few people that have done early copies, it took them about 25 hours to beat the story. So
Really.
what are you thinking you're going to get out of this game content
Uh
wise, lifetime
right.
wise?
Man, that's rough. So it all depends on how fun all of the side quests are and how rewarding they are and how well the game is how entertaining it is to sidetrack me to other things. The only example I can give you, um, Zelda Breath of the Wild had fun mini games, right? That made it fun and engaging, and they were like puzzles for you to figure out to unlock certain things. So for me, it was like, oh, I want to do more of these puzzles. These are fun and these are interesting, right? So that's that game. The other example I can give you is like, was it a Far Cry game? The one with the one with the guy where he was like a religious leader or something. He was a cult leader, and you
Far
had to
Cry.
kill him.
Yeah, Far Cry.
Far Cry was it Far Cry 5? Um, that
Yes.
Far Cry had side missions that were hilarious. Like one of them was like helping a guy
Get
who
to
was trying to
space.
contact aliens.
Yep. Get to
You remember
space.
that?
Did you
And
ever
so like
did you ever play the second to the it should have been a fucking download to the game, but they made Far Cry 5 and then Far Cry New Dawn. It was the sequel to
Right,
that game.
right.
Did you ever play that?
I did not play the add-on to that. No, I heard it was not that great.
Spoiler alert: he gets into space, and it's a few missions.
Oh, really? So you get to, okay, I might have to play it just for that. So that's the thing that I like. So I like when unexpectedly the game is not, it's not the main mission, and you find like this gem where you meet a character that has a voice actor that you just were like, this guy, this is great. This is a memorable moment. Another example of that would be the mission where you sing in the car in Saints Row, where you sing in the car with the guy. I forget what the song was, but you sing in the car with him. You guys
don't
go back and forth, and you know what I'm talking about?
don't hate me, man, but I never played Saint
You
Row.
never played Saints Row.
I've never
So
played
Saints
Saints
Row, there
Row.
was a mission where they sing in the car together, and they're singing like a pretty common song that you've heard before, and I don't remember the name of it now, but that moment is one of the most memorable moments for me in that game, you know. And so I like when you there's these side quests and you get to meet characters and there's backstory and you know it's an unexpected bonus for venturing off of the 25-hour you know campaign. So for me, it's all dependent on that. I would say I would hope that I get, 50 to 100 hours of super engaging, fun gameplay with all the side quests and everything. That's like obviously going out and doing everything. But honestly, I would hope that with the multiplayer, where we can play with our friends and then like powering yourself up and unlocking that stuff, I hope that that whole system is so rewarding that you want to like you want to like it draws you in and makes you want to level up and level up and level up and level up to where you're just wrecking everything. To where like you're just like I said, God mode. You're dominating everybody. And if that's in there, man, I mean, I'm willing to work for it. You know what I mean? I'm like you. I want to get to the end level and just like breeze through the hard fights because I've done all the work. I've done all the side work. How about you? What's your expectations?
I have about the same expectation, except for I realistically see me putting, you know, if this game holds up to be what it is, and it's anywhere close to Skyrim, as in it's that fun where I can do things and I stay. The side missions are just as good as the main mission. I don't see it. I can put 500 hours into a game over the lifetime of the game. I'm not saying like I'm knocking 500 hours out right now, right? But I can see myself
Right,
playing this game over and over again. And as long as and I'm sure they will add more content and eventually add either multiplayer or co-op. This game has a long life. It has a very long life. Uh,
right,
what do you think? What do you think about their Hail Mary they did last year and uh, bringing in Keanu Reeves? And obviously now the game's a little closer. We know he's a key. He's not just
right.
a person in the game. He's a key character in the game. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I love Keanu Reeves, man. I love the Matrix movies. So,
Yes.
I don't care for Bill and Ted. I mean, when I was a kid, it was cool. The remake obviously was not that great, but um, I loved the Matrix, and I loved his character in the Matrix, and so for me, this is the genre that he kind of fits in, right? The futuristic, character. I think his character's gonna play well. I think it's a good idea. I mean, I don't think CD Projekt Red needed to pull in any kind of major character to garner any more attention. I mean, people have been waiting for this game for so long, man. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants this, or they wouldn't be making it. That's the thing that CD Projekt Red gets right. Like everybody wants this futuristic gunfight, not super spacey though, right? Like we don't want space because we know that that just draws the game out and gives you like Outer Worlds, right? Not a bad game, but it's a perfect example of how a really good idea can like start to not be that great when you start to play it. I don't know if you played Outer Worlds at all.
I played a
Um,
little bit, yeah.
Good
You
game,
know,
but it lost your interest, right? You lost interest, right? And that's
yeah.
supposed to be like a
That
Skyrimish, a futuristic Skyrim, basically. But
that's my only worry is what you keep saying. There's a pattern of something you're saying right now since we've been talking about this
right,
game, and
yes,
the pattern is I have faith in CD Projekt Red. I know CD
Yep.
Projekt Red. That is also one of the things that can tank a freaking game, dude. I know these guys are good and proven, but each project is different. And what actually made me feel a little better, I love Keanu, but I would hate for them to just put him in to try to be like, draw some of his people. Keanu's hot right now, John Wick,
Right.
Matrix 4 is coming out. Um, let's put him in a game. But they didn't.
Right.
He is a key character.
Yeah.
Um, they had this little small interview that they were actually talking about him a long time ago. They just weren't sure if they can lock him in. So the talks were always there, but they finally were able to lock him in. And from what
Right.
I hear, once you go to play the game, like it's gonna be a character that you're either gonna love or you're gonna hate, but it makes the game. Like it makes the
Right.
story. It freaking so I think putting Keanu in is actually it's actually pretty good. He also owns his own
Right.
motorcycle company, and he was able to build a futuristic bike. I watched that little featurette too, and they put that bike they made into the game. It's freaking
Oh,
sick,
nice.
dude. Like how awesome is that?
That is pretty awesome. The other thing I'm looking forward to, and so what was the original release date? What was the very first original release date for this game? Do you know?
I don't want to butcher it. I'm gonna Google it really quick.
All right, Google it real quick, and hopefully we can figure out. I know there's an original release date, and I know it's like I'm thinking they added on another year or maybe two to the development cycle of this game. So for me, what that means is like if you've added on a year or 2 years, that you're talking about they've done more video shoots, um, they've done more voice acting, they've added better character models or storyline or fixed plot holes or whatever. And for me, I think that because they have all of these different starting points for like whether you were poor or you're a thug or you're rich or whatever, I'm interested to see like how diverse
Bro,
those what.
I'm about to blow your mind right now.
Okay,
When
what
I
was the original release date?
when I was joking earlier, I kind of felt like I was right, but
Right.
I was right. So
Okay.
this game was announced in May 2012.
2012 it was announced. So they've been working on this game since 2012 or
There was
probably even
there
before.
was a teaser trailer release January
Right.
2013. The game was supposed to be released December 2013.
So it was supposed to be released in 2013.
What year is it right now? Can you
It's
refresh?
2020.
Oh
Okay.
shit!
So think about that for a second. Think about how many years, right? They already had a teaser trailer, they already had concepts and ideas, they had all these things laid out in 2012, strong enough for them to announce it and to possibly release it in 2013,
You know
right?
what's funny is that
Right.
that's the trailer I was telling you about. The teaser trailer they
Right.
released in 2013.
Right.
It looks so
That's it.
good. It looks so
Yeah.
good in 2013 that I was like,
Right.
yes, that's gonna be the
And now
game.
it's 2020. So think about that, dude. Think about
And
how many extra years of like character development, fixing plot holes, doing more motion capture, having a real actor, well, not a real actor, a known actor come in and do a storyline. And then think about you have to not only develop one storyline, but you're developing a storyline for each one of these people, from whatever class or part of society they came from. Then adding in choices and manipulating, and that manipulates stuff, right? I mean, there's a lot of time to add a lot of content to make it super interesting. So I'm thinking, okay, let's say the game is super engaging and it's really entertaining for the main storyline. And let's say that like the side missions aren't that great, which I'm hoping that's not the case. So let's say the side missions aren't that great, they're not very entertaining and engaging and there's no really point in doing them, but the storyline is really good. So now you're pushing the storyline and you're rocking the storyline, but you started as a rich guy, right? But now the storyline is so different if you play it again as a poor guy. You get what I'm saying? Or it's so different if you play as a rich guy with a lot of luck or a rich guy with you know what I'm saying? So that's the
I,
thing is like
I'm
depending on
sure I'm sure the
how many
game is gonna
right.
be solid in those aspects. I feel, and we're at the 34-minute mark, so let's give this thing about 8 more minutes to try to wrap each other up here. But
Right.
I feel that they were also waiting for the technology to be right so the game can be everything that they dreamed of. You
Right.
know, you can beat a horse all day long with dialogue and story, and I love story and everything like that. But
Right.
also, it has to deliver in the technology aspect. Watch Dogs, you had all these things about, hey, it was going to be a game, it was going to be a hacking game, futuristic. It was pretty lame. It wasn't that cool. They they hyped it up to 100. It landed at a 55. Okay, I think that they were worried. Cyberpunk was worried about doing the exact same thing, so they waited and they kept working on the game. They kept working on the story. They kept working on the mechanics, but also they were just waiting for technology, and we're
Yeah.
there now. I mean, I'm super glad that it's coming out in this time right now because I think this is the best time. This is the best
Yeah.
time for it to come out. A new console just came out. New consoles, sorry. Um,
Right.
our new video cards are out, and this is the best time we've had in gaming. I'm sure they'll have another time, but in the last recent years, this is the best time in gaming. Just in general, you have a lot of games to play. They're running really well. They're running huge multiplayers, and here we come, CyberPunk. The only thing I am gonna say, especially after looking at those years, I'm a little bit
Right.
disappointed, and maybe it's their game plan. They didn't want to throw the whole wad out right away.
Right.
But this thing being developed in 2000, I mean, being developed before then, but being announced and supposed to being out in 2014, uh, we should have multiplayer.
2013.
We should have
Yeah.
multiplayer, or we should have
Uh,
co-op.
well, well, maybe I don't know. Maybe.
It could
Yeah. I
be a
mean,
game plan. It could be a game plan to stretch out the life of the game, but
right. It could also be that they like. I look at it like this: is if you're like you both of us are own businesses, we know how this works. So like as a business plan, we're saying, oh well, if we try to release multiplayer at in 2020 when the game launches, then we're taking resources of our team away from getting the campaign and the story and the mechanics and everything the way that we want it. So instead, let's kind of have a small team getting it ready, but not put, you know what I'm saying? So they probably didn't put all the resources in for that because they knew they could add it on. And so they could focus on making the game what they wanted to do at launch because they don't want to release a game, launch it with bugs and issues and not having the stuff that they originally wanted to have in the game. So I think that
what about the
on one
seven?
side, yeah, it kind of sucks because
What,
they've been developing this for a long time,
7 years, man,
but
7 years.
7 years. But on the same, on the other side of the coin is that, you know, most likely that choice was made because they didn't want to dedicate time to the multiplayer
have
when they were
you
trying to fix the main part of the game
have you played
or
Elder Scrolls
finish it.
Online?
No, I hated that game.
Have
I
you
felt like it.
have you played any
I played
Skyrim
it.
mods? Have you played any Skyrim mods we can play with your
I
friends?
have I have played Skyrim mods. Yeah.
I mean, people
So right,
enjoy and people
right,
enjoy doing those things, and maybe you have to do the game once through. Maybe you make it like a requirement to unlock multiplayer that you have to
right,
beat the campaign once. But these games do need a multiplayer. Single player games, the shelf life is
right.
not long. Even a great game, you have to have multiplayer in the end game. And
You're absolutely right.
you can almost say that I'm working for fucking Rockstar Games right now because I'm gonna bring up Grand Theft Auto again. But dude, Grand Theft Auto, that game is only alive because of the multiplayer base. It is
Right.
100% only play. So, give me your final thoughts, Pineapple. Give me your final thoughts, and then let me know when you're going to be live tomorrow streaming this beautiful game.
Well, I'll be live in 15 hours, 22 minutes, and 31, 30, 29. Yeah, I'll be live at 7 o'clock, right? 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll be live at 4 p.m.
Yep.
Pacific Time, right?
Yeah.
So, um, final thoughts. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's single player games have a shelf life, so they do have to add multiplayer. I think that uh, they probably were saving resources for that personally, but I think we're gonna have so much to do and so much to experience with the different paths, depending on how different they are. Like if it's the same cutscenes with like two words that are different, it's not going to be. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to be playable. So as long as the paths are so unique and different and have it feels like three games in one. I think that's what's going to happen.
Talking about
Personally,
the
that's my
multiple endings.
yeah. I think that's what's. I'm hoping that the whole story is just unique to that choice that you made. Like I hope that I just don't want to see a cutscene where the guy has changed. Oh, you went left. Oh, you went right. Like I don't want I want it to be like different people, different. You don't even meet some of the same people, right? Because you're in a different class of human being or whatever. So you should be interacting with completely different people.
Yeah,
I know that's hard to do because they're trying to still have you know, some trajectory of the story, but I hope it's unique enough to where you want to play it, you know, several times. That's my
I
final
like it.
thoughts,
I
I
like it.
guess.
Well, I will also be live release of the game. I think that maybe we can get into Discord together and just throw mutes, and we can shoot each other little messages when we want to take a break and talk about it. I would love to get your reactions on it during playing. And you guys got the first preview at our new podcast studio here. The CyberPunk won't be here next time. We're gonna keep having Pineapple deck this out, dude. He does some amazing work. Without Pineapple, I wouldn't even do this podcast because it'd be me talking on a blank screen with a picture of a ninja or a pineapple or something, man. So he does some awesome work, guys. I'm gonna put our streams in the link. Make sure you go out, throw us follows. Tomorrow, tomorrow, if you guys come around, hit some subs up. We're gonna do some things, man. And if we can get some subs out there, maybe I'll be generous enough to combine our streams together and give away a copy of the game. So tell some people.
Hey, there you go.
But we try to keep this short. Whenever me and Pineapple talk, it's never short. So we will catch you guys tomorrow in 15 hours and 19 minutes. See you next time.